Welcome to Back Talk, the premier podcast from successful Black Parenting Magazine, featuring in depth conversations and expert insights on crucial topics for Black families. We are ranked one of the top 4 Black family podcasts on FeedSpot. I'm your host, Janice Robinson Celeste. Have you ever found yourself explaining to a 10-year-old why she can't have hot pink middle part bust down braids with matching acrylic nails, while also trying to teach her that being Black is not a TikTok trend? It's a whole legacy. And how do you balance all of that while raising a son who's out here breaking stereotypes just by being himself, all while running a business, finding your peace, and figuring out what's for dinner? It's called being a Black mom boss. Stay tuned, and if you know what we're talking about, join in on the conversation because I'll be right back.
This is Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, the most listened to podcast for parents by parents.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine, your go-to podcast talk show for parents. We are live. You can ask questions by posting in the comment section on our Facebook and YouTube comment area. Just do it earlier. And share our podcast with your friends. Shout it out to your followers because sharing is truly caring. And don't forget to use hashtag BackTalk when you post on Instagram. Today on Back Talk, we have Phnewfula Fredrickson, the founder and CEO of Happy Mango. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start by introducing yourself to our audience. Tell us who you are and all about Happy Mango. Make sure you speak up because you're kind of far from the mic, so we want to hear you.
Sure.
What you have to say.
Okay. My name is Phnewfula, and I am the founder and CEO of Happy Mango. It is a baby, pregnancy, and kids boutique where we specialize in helping parents find the best gear for themselves and their babies. Being pregnant is enough. We want to help you through the rest of the stuff that we can. I'm a mom of 2. I'm a single mom of 2 amazing children, a 10-year-old girl and a almost 17-year-old boy. I am an HBCU graduate. I went to the illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
Yes, Clark
And
Atlanta.
I think that's me in a nutshell.
Well, no, thank you for saying that. Now, I have to tell the audience that the title came from you because it's something you actually experienced, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
But before we get into it, we always ask our guests, what's one thing about you that most people don't know?
Ooh, I'm a huge science nerd. Like,
Oh.
I love information. I follow all of the random information that no one needs to know accounts on Instagram, and I consistently share them. Like, my sisters and I nerd out on all kinds of information. Like, I shared with my daughter yesterday, like, do you know octopus punch fish? And we had to pull up the YouTube video so she can see. So I'm a pretty big geek.
Okay, I'm gonna have to follow you because I love science too, and I, I definitely love biology and marine biology. So that was a good one. That's a good one. Thank you for sharing that. Now you're a mom of both a son and a daughter. Now
Yes.
I have 3 girls that I raised, but what's the biggest difference you notice in parenting across gender lines, especially as a Black mom?
That there really is a difference in what you tell your son and what you tell your daughter. I've intentionally tried to not make it too different because my son needs to understand how a woman feels from a female perspective, and my daughter also needs to understand a man's perspective. So I try not to make it too different, but it is different. When my son is going out on a date, it's a different set of rules than when my daughter will go out on a date. Again, trying to not make them too different, because if a man respects a woman, then she doesn't have to come up with all the alternatives just in case. What if this happens? So I do try and have conversations with them together so that they can both hear what I'm telling each other. But obviously, my daughter is not of age to hear some of the conversations that I have with my son.
I love that idea of having conversations together so that they understand both perspectives. And how old are your children?
10 and 16. My son will be 17. And I think a really good example of bringing together the conversation is the conversation about cycles. So we were talking about periods and what that is. And my son was like, ew, I don't want to hear that. I was like, you need to hear that because you like women. So this is part of what comes with being a woman.
Yeah.
And if you see a girl in school and she has bled on herself or is having an accident, you are not to laugh. You are to go put your sweatshirt around her waist or tap her on the shoulder and say, hey, listen, this is what happened. You might need to go to the bathroom, because a lot of the times we don't know that's what's going on. So while explaining to my daughter that she needs to
Oh,
carry
that's
extra
wonderful.
clothes and carry things in her bag for the just in case, also explaining to my son what happens if he sees a girl in the same situation with the same just in case.
I love that. Oh my god, you just touched me with that because, like, I've never had son to explain that
Hmm.
to, but I do have grandsons, so I
Hmm.
will make sure I'm gonna take your advice. You can always learn something. Look, I learned something today. Early childhood specialist, parent educator.
Hmm.
I love that idea,
Hmm.
and just him coming to her defense,
Hmm.
that means a lot to a girl, so thank you
Yeah.
for raising a king.
Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Now, you mentioned trying to convince your daughter that a pink bust down and acrylics are not age appropriate at age 10? Like, age 10? Please, tell us that story first of all.
Okay, so it was an easy runway for her to get to that. My daughter is a competition cheerleader. Big shout out to
Oh,
Extreme
okay.
Girls,
Yeah.
Ruby Woo, that's her team. And so for competition, the very first season they had to have a bust down with a ponytail. Now, because they're an all black team, it was hair texture appropriate. It had to be the same color. It was truly just for showmanship, so
Mhm.
that the judges could see them from far away. Same with their makeup. They have to wear makeup because the judges are very far from their table. So I explained to her, you have these things for performance reasons. They are not enhancing your beauty. They are not enhancements to
Good.
yourself. They are not for confidence boosters. They are strictly for performance. But once you put a ponytail in, it's, well, what about pink? And, she's 10 and girls her age have acrylics. So every
That
month,
that blows my
every
mind.
month,
I don't even have on acrylics, right?
me
I
neither.
do not.
Me
That
neither.
blows my mind, and know how expensive it is now. Like, it when they
Right.
it's just the prices went, like, sky high, like, you literally need to be almost wealthy, like, to keep those up at this point.
Yeah.
Press-ons are the way to go today, so
Listen, press-ons rot our cabbage every day. My daughter has press-ons all over the floor. We step on them. So it's a conversation, because when we were younger, there was certain age appropriate things. I think now that needle is moving younger and younger,
it
and
really
the
is.
acceptance of those things are younger and younger. Like for us, weave was a bad thing, or if you had fake hair, you didn't flaunt it and talk about it. But
I
now it's
remember
like,
that.
what, I'm going to go get my ponytail done. And so that's her everyday life. So she's like, okay, when is it my turn? And I'm like, it's not, homegirl. Where you can get acrylics at 16.
You
I'll
know what?
take you
We were
there.
just talking about what you're saying on my private Facebook page. Imma move it to, Successful Black Parenting's page for discussion shortly. But there are girls in middle school, especially high school, that are wearing
Mhm.
lace front wigs.
Yes.
I want the audience to comment on that too. If you've seen that, I wanna know what your opinion is on it. Lace Okay, first of all, I mean, you can get 2 kinds of lace fronts, right? Synthetic and real human hair. This one, the human hair, is mega expensive,
Hmm.
and they have it down pat because they've been watching these YouTube videos on how to
Hmm.
install them. And I didn't have that growing up, so I had to learn my
Hmm.
makeup after 40.
Hmm.
So, how to do it, and still ain't that good at it. They're
Hmm.
definitely better at it than I am. But, Wayne, this is wild. How do you navigate setting boundaries while still letting your kids express themselves?
So I am all for expression as long as, again, it's age appropriate. So my son, I don't know where he got the idea from, but I want to say he may have been in fifth grade, and he was like, "Mom, can I wear black nail polish?" And I was like, "Well." Oh, so I know where he got it from, because a lot of the rappers wear nail polish. And I was like, "Son, I don't think that's a good idea." And at this time, he was going to an all boys private school, an all boys charter school. So I said, "I don't think it's a good idea." And he was like, "Well, I just want to try it." I said, "Okay, I will let you do what you want to do, but I'm letting you know I don't think that's a good idea." He wore it to school. By the time he got picked up, he had scratched it all off, and he was in tears because the kids made fun of him all day. And I was like, if I don't let you experience it, then you don't have your own
Yeah.
experiences. So he was like, Mom, can I dye my hair blonde? Rock out. I don't care. Dye your hair blonde. He had blonde hair for like 2 years. My kids are allowed to do whatever they want to do within reason. So my daughter can't have a pink bust down, but can she have pink braids in her braids? Absolutely.
I see. Well, let's explain to people who might not know what a bust down is. Can you explain it in your own words?
It is a middle part ponytail in various lengths. So it's normally a middle part ponytail with weave. And if you are of the younger generation, it's not complete without baby hairs.
Okay. Okay. All right. My granddaughter explained this. She said all the way down to your butt.
Yeah.
I was
Like
like,
now,
oh,
there's a song called Down to the Booty Braids. Like,
oh, okay.
yeah, all of it.
They
Mm-hmm.
know about all that, I'm sure. So,
Mm-hmm.
no, she's been dying to get the same thing, pink braids,
Mm-hmm.
the boho kind, right? But all the way down to her butt. And her mom said no. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, and I'm like, I was with Polished Mom. I was like, well, why not? I didn't know it was a grown up thing. Because when you say
Mm-hmm.
pink, I'm thinking kids because I'm still learning myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Polished Mom said, what's wrong with a bust down middle part?
What it is, so I will say again, age appropriate. So it's not a bust down if it's not obnoxiously long. It's just a middle part ponytail. So that's the part that becomes not age appropriate. In my opinion, it is not appropriate for a 10-year-old to walk around with a down to the booty ponytail. Now, can she have a ponytail that is bra length or shoulder length? Absolutely. But no, for several reasons. Also, we just talked about the cost. At 10, you don't have a job. Who's paying for you to get your ponytail, redone every 2 weeks?
Right? That's
You
enough
you
right
then
there.
become another expense. Hair, nails, those are grown folks' luxuries. Those aren't child with no job luxuries.
Now, what area of the country are you located in?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, okay, so wait. So
Hmm.
give them I and usually the prices in Atlanta are reasonable because I also we came from LA and it's not
Hmm.
reasonable, right? So, LA, New York, what would something like that cost to
Hmm.
do down to the butt, pink bust down? What would you expect to spend?
Okay, so I did let my daughter pick out my hair for the Clark Atlanta Gala that I just went to, and it was a down to the almost butt ponytail. It was not a bust down, but I think my ponytail cost 180.
180. And how
Mhm.
often you gotta keep that up? Like,
I don't.
but if you did,
So
it
I'm
lasts?
assuming like every 2 weeks. The times that my daughter has had ponytails, I've taken them out immediately after competition. So I
Okay,
actually don't know how long they last. That's not
you
my ministry.
but you're thinking about 2 weeks. So
I think.
when you start talking about hair, 180,
Hmm.
nails can easily run up to 200 depending on what you're getting done.
Hmm.
So we're about almost $400, and God forbid, you know, they wanna get lashes or something like that because they
Hmm.
might be in high school, right?
Hmm.
So, lashes start like 160 to 200 depending on where you're going, and then maintaining it, at least $60. That is a car payment,
Yeah.
that is a job.
Hmm.
Um, if
It's
you're
a
a parent
grown
out
folks
there
luxury.
yeah, if you're a parent out there and you're allowing your child to get all these luxurious, like, add-ons to upgrade or whatever, please comment because I wanna talk to you later too about this, like, how expensive this must be.
So I think I also need to point out because it would be a disservice to this generation if I did not.
Okay.
They are the YouTube kings and queens. So while we're paying $180 for this, their homegirl at school is hooking them up in the
Oh.
bathroom, in her home. Lashes, my daughter has a teammate who lays them out on the bed and does all of their lashes, and they look incredible.
At 10?
She's 11. Yeah.
11? I'm sorry. I try to do my lashes. I gotta get
Mhm.
up at least an hour earlier because 'cause
Yeah.
Imma mess them up several times before I get them straight. That's why I have
Yeah.
natural lashes on.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
then don't let me try to do the individuals, even the ones that stick on, they look
Mhm.
like dead mosquitoes on my eyelashes. Like,
Mhm.
I am not that good at any of this. So that's
Yeah.
amazing to me.
Yeah, they're masters. They can do full faces makeup. I mean, again, for competition, the girls have to be fully made up. I will send my
Right.
daughter to a teammate's room. She will come back with hair done, makeup done, lashes in.
That's amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. Let's talk about raising a Black boy in
Yes.
the United States. What intentional steps do you take to protect his joy and identity
Mhm.
while challenging the world's stereotypes when they look at him and what they see?
So, first thing I have to just remind him who he is to me, who he is to himself, and then who he is to the world. Those are three different people. How I see him versus how he sees himself and how the world will see him. It's very important that he knows the difference. Um, and just being aware of the things that can happen. Of course, we have the conversation. If you're pulled over by the police, what do you do? When you leave the house, what you should look like, what to do in an emergency. And he doesn't really like that. He doesn't, we live in Atlanta where everyone's Black.
Right.
So he doesn't see a lot of the differences because he doesn't see people who don't look like him in positions that may be threatening to him.
Mhm.
All the police officers he sees are Black. So he doesn't really see that. So I have to explain it to him like, hey, once you leave our little bubble of Atlanta, these situations can become dangerous for you. So you just need to be aware. So that is important, making sure he understands. Sometimes I'll have to pull up the news and be like, hey, this is what happened. And he's like, Mom, I don't want to hear that's not going to happen to me. I pray to God it never
Right.
does.
Right.
But these things are important. Making sure when you're going to meetings, how you speak to people, how you present, people are going to judge you before they see you. You're 6'1" in dark chocolate. That if you have a hoodie on, you're menacing, in some circles. So it's important to be cognizant of that. When you walk in a room, take your hoodie off. When you speak to someone, look them in the face, address them, with their proper titles. Things like that can be the difference between you being thought of as a threat and you being thought of as, oh, this is someone who we might be able to give a job to.
Isn't that a shame that a hoodie has been weaponized
Yeah.
where me and Mark Zuckerberg, we both wear hoodies all the time. And
Hmm.
I know I can look menacing if I don't have my hair out too. Like if I
Hmm.
have my hair back, you can't tell if I'm a boy or a girl,
Hmm.
So like I've seen people look twice when I'm out walking my dog early in the morning because I'm covering up my hair because I don't want anybody to see me, and I had
Hmm.
a hoodie drawn around my
Hmm.
face and my dark glasses on. They're like, so I'm
Yeah.
like, but Zuckerberg can wear it
Yeah.
and into the office every day, and he's not considered dangerous or a threat or a
Hmm.
thug. I heard somebody call
Hmm.
somebody a thug today because they were fussing, and I'm
Hmm.
like, that made them a thug.
Hmm.
But um, so it's a shame that we have to go through this, and that's my fear too. My grandsons, like, how will they be perceived? Um,
Yeah. So one of the things that I also tell him is comparison is the thief of joy. Yes, that person can do it, but you cannot. So focus on you. Don't worry about what this person is doing because as long as you're worried about what someone else can do and why you can't do it, you're focused on the wrong thing. Just be the
yeah.
best you that you can be. Right now, we are just in an unfortunate space. We've been in that unfortunate space since we landed here. Deal with
Yeah.
it the best you can, and then you will be able to live the best life possible.
Right. Now, for the people who are just joining, you still can leave a comment if you or a question. We'll be happy to answer that. We're about halfway through the show, but you are a successful entrepreneur with Happy Mango and a
Hmm.
full-time mom. For the
Hmm.
people just joining, especially, just tell us a little bit about your journey with Happy
Hmm.
Mango, and I
Yeah.
want to and tell them all about it because I think it's a great place. If you don't have a young baby in the house, I think it makes great baby shower gifts, and
Hmm.
you're Black owned.
Hmm.
I mean, we can't ask for better than that.
Yeah.
Black, we have a synergy. Like,
Hmm.
please tell them all about it.
Okay, so I started Happy Mango 15, 16 years ago after I was pregnant with my son. While I was pregnant with my son, I was so happy to be pregnant. I think as soon as that stick showed two lines, I drove straight to Babies R Us. And I was like, show me all of the things. And they were like, yeah, no, we don't, we ring them up. We don't know the things. And that
Right.
was my journey throughout the time that I was pregnant. None of my friends had kids yet. And I had questions about everything, and no one could answer them. And I was like, our motto at Clark is find a way or make one. And I was like, I don't want anyone else to go through this. So let me be an informational source. Yes, I'm a retail store. Yes, we sell things, but we've moved to by appointment. So when you come in, it's just us and you and all of the product. So every question that you thought may have been a stupid question is not. We're here for you. We're here to answer your questions. What do you need? And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help parents. So we scaled back on a lot of the uh toys and clothes that we sell because you don't need help with that. You need me to help you pick out a stroller or a car seat. I'm also a CPST, so we can install your car seat, show you how to use it, and make sure when you leave the store you can safely do both things. So that was my goal, was more to help parents, and the easy avenue was retail because that's where I felt I needed the most help. I'm not a doctor. Doctors will answer your questions. I'm not a doula. Doulas can answer your questions. Who's answering your questions?
Uh-oh. We lost you for a second. If you can still hear us, just refresh the page and I'll bring you back in. But we're talking about boss moms and raising children and being a boss mom myself. I can tell you it is a challenge. And we're just going to see if we can refresh and get her right back in here. Hold on. We're going to keep going. So it's difficult. Like as a mom, I know I've been doing this for like so many years, just raising kids and trying to balance my life. It is not easy. And then trying to raise them as black children is a whole nother world. Like we're in Atlanta now, like she said, you see everybody that looks like you. So it's different. But like when I raised my kids, we were in Philadelphia, even though we were in West Philadelphia. I got them out of there. We moved to Florida, and there was no one that looked like them. No one that looked like them. So I had to protect them. I was lucky because I had girls. I don't have boys. So the climate today, I am always concerned about moms that have boys. So, if you're back, you're back.
Yeah, I was like, where am I?
I'm not sure what happened. We lost you for a hot second there, but I'm glad you made it
Yes,
back.
yes,
But
thank you. I was pushing every button.
I'm not sure what happened. Sometimes things happen. We're live. Anything can happen. God knows. But so let me
Yeah.
talk to you about that because because I was just talking about work life balance and I'm being a
Mhm,
boss mom. There was times I had to leave my kids and go to speaking engagements. They were really young men all around
mhm,
the country. And one of the reasons we stopped doing our print edition is we were the first, and I'm gonna tell you all of you guys listening, we were the first national Black parenting magazine in print in the United States back in the 90s. So I'm kind of telling my
mhm,
age, back in the 90s. And we were on newsstands and everything. And the one reason I closed it after a few years because it was just too much. It's like several factors that were weighing heavily on me. Some I spoke about on the show before. But the thing that bothered me is I'm this parenting expert, right? And I'm leaving my young kids behind and missing them to go talk to other parents about how to be a good parent, basically.
mhm,
And I'm leaving my babies who
mhm,
I'm like yearning for.
mhm.
So how do you balance both worlds and what does self-care actually look like for you?
Yeah, I think this is where the part where it's really important to be transparent because I would be 100% wrong if I sat up here and said I have the self-care together. I balance. I don't balance. There is no balance. I'm definitely trying to get better at that. But my kids are very active. I have two children in elite sports. So my
Mhm.
schedule is based around them, not based around work. So I close at a certain time. I pick up one child, drop them off, come back, get the other child. My 5 days a week they have practice, and then Saturdays and Sundays it's games and practice. So I am busy all the time, and it's just me running them around back and forth. When I first started the store, it was really challenging because I didn't make enough money to have employees. So I had to close the store every day at about 2:30, go pick up my son from school, go pick up my daughter from school, bring them both back to the store, and we would stay there until 6 o'clock. So my kids were really raised in the store. And I shout out to Paris. I had my old intern in Chicago and I called her and I was like, hey, you're not doing anything in Chicago. Can you please move to Atlanta and help me with my kids? You can stay with me. I got you room and board. I just need you 3 hours a day from when they get out of school until the school closes. I need you to pick
That's
them up,
cool.
bring them home, and hold them so I can work. Like all
Mhm.
I wanted to do was work. I wasn't going anywhere or doing anything. I just needed the opportunity to make a living and make this dream that I had come true. I couldn't close it because I didn't have childcare. She agreed. And she had the kids every
Wow.
day for a year. And my mother took them every weekend because I worked Tuesday through Sunday. So my mom got them Friday afternoon and she had them Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I had Monday off and Paris took them Tuesday through Friday. And for a year, that's what I needed. And then I started making enough money where I could actually have employees so that I could pick my kids up from school.
Now, you have an online store and you
Mhm,
have a brick and mortar store. Tell
mhm.
people about the brick and mortar store, where that is, and then how to also order online and what will
Yeah.
remind you of that. And by the way, because I want you to go to our shop. Go ahead.
Yes. So we have a new location. It's 572 Edgewood. You can find all of our information on Instagram, on our website. We are by appointment, as I said. So if you're buying a baby shower gift, of course, you can come on in. If you're just browsing for random stuff, you can come in. If you're coming in for car seats and strollers, make an appointment, and we will help you out with all of the things. Our website is www.shophappymango.com. We're the same on Instagram, same on TikTok. We're Shop Happy Mango everywhere.
Happy Mango. Where did the name come from?
Oh my goodness, it's so corny now, and I'm almost embarrassed to tell people. My dad is West Indian. We like a lot of mangoes, and we're happy. So
I love it. I love mangoes. It makes me happy. My daughter has a mango tree in her backyard. That makes me
yeah,
happy. Best
yeah.
mangoes I've
I
ever
mean,
tasted.
as the marketing person that I pride myself on being, in hindsight, I'm like, why did I make my store sound like a smoothie shop? Why isn't it named like pacifier or cute diapers or happy babies?
No,
But
it's
no, it's
cute.
Happy Mango.
It's cute. You know what I thought it was? I thought it was at first when I heard, I thought it was wooden toys made out of like mango wood or
Oh,
something. That's what I kind of like thought because I
interesting.
think I saw a wooden toy at first when I first
Hmm.
looked at the site, and I was like, "Well,
Hmm.
okay," but no, it's way more. But I love the name because it's memorable. So
Yeah.
I think you did good with that.
Thank you for that nice twist on it. One of my customers said, "Oh, I thought it was because the baby was the size of a mango when you're pregnant and you make the pregnant people happy."
Oh, look at
I was like,
that.
"Let's take that and run with it."
That's an artistic
Yeah,
interpretation, isn't it? Yeah, I love
we'll
that.
take it.
Now, let's talk about what role has cultural pride and identity played in
Yes.
your parenting, and how do you
Mhm.
pass that down to your kids in such a meaningful way? 'Cause it sounds like you really had that down pat.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, we're pretty black here. I went to an HBCU. Both of my sisters went to an HBCU. We are a very black family. We don't try to be anything but. Um, so there's nothing else to pass down but pride in oneself. I'm a natural hair girl, as you can tell. I
Love it.
My diffuser broke, so I'm on here looking like a wet poodle.
You
Um,
look
my
fine.
daughter knows that her natural hair is beautiful. My son
Yes,
knows that his skin is amazing. Like, I have really beautiful, confident kids, and I let them know all the time. There should never be a time where someone tells you something about yourself and you believe them.
I
So we
agree.
work on that all the time. You are smart, you are amazing, you come from good, strong people, and you can do whatever you want to do. So that's where we go when we travel. It's weird. I thought about it. I was like, we've only been to black and brown countries. We've never been to Europe. Um, and my son was like, I don't understand why we need to go. I'm like, there's more people in the world besides people who look like us, but they're so comfortable in their skin that they don't feel the need to go anywhere and please anyone else. They know how to, they just don't feel the need to. My
Yes,
son can walk into a room and have a conversation with anyone of any color,
good.
as can my daughter.
And that's how it should be. That's
Mhm.
good. No, you're giving them a well-rounded education,
Mhm.
by even just taking them outside of the United States, even though it might
Mhm.
not have been Europe yet, they'll get a chance to visit
For
all those
sure.
places. And of course,
Yeah.
all those places have their own cultural identity, and you'll find that it's totally different than the United States. So
Yeah.
I think all of that helps with everything from vocabulary to just
Hmm.
experiences.
Hmm.
Now you say you talk about schools,
Hmm.
HBCUs, and have you with your children in school, have you ever had an issue? Because here at Successful Black Parenting, we're not just a publication, we advocate for our parents. So we've had
Hmm.
calls from parents that have problems in schools or whatever issues, and we also will call the school and say, hey,
Hmm.
what's going on over there? When they hear magazine behind it, they get a little nervous. So we've
Hmm.
done that just to kind of be intimidating so we can get
Hmm.
results.
Hmm.
But have you ever had an issue in the school system? I mean, you're in Atlanta, so I wouldn't think so, but with a
Hmm.
teacher, administrator, anything like that that
Yes.
some of these other parents have experienced.
Yes. And it's really interesting, the experiences that I've had. I've had more with my daughter than with my son. My son went to a school that I believe their intentions were good. I definitely believe their intentions were good. I believe that they were trying to make strong, black, responsible men, but they had kind of a template that didn't allow for individuality. It was
Mm.
a, this is the bar, this is where it's going to be. And my son had gotten in trouble once, and I got a phone call offering to paddle him or he can be suspended. When I tell you I was at the principal's door so fast, like, first of all, what we're never going to do is put your hand on my child. And I was like, and nor will he be suspended. What we're going to do is we're going to leave. and he went to a different school, I want to say a week or two later. And that school is also where my daughter's at. And it is a very mixed school. And the administration, it has a good mix of everyone, but I will say they are very intentional about making sure that every single culture and race feels embraced and looked at. And I love it. My daughter does not say the Pledge of Allegiance. She does not believe the words, so she will not say them. And I've always supported her in that. And she had two Black teachers who used to make her feel bad every day about not saying it. Then she goes to this new school. She has a white teacher and a Black teacher. And they were both like, well, we're not going to say it with you either because we don't believe it should be said in school. And I was like, this is what I love. I love the support. And anytime there's been an issue at her school, which there has been, the teachers are on it. Someone is taking care of it. It's not a her coming home and saying, hey, mommy, this is what happened. And no, it's been taken care of. So I love it. In school, there will be issues because people are raised differently. And you have to, your child will encounter people who have different views.
Yes, and is this a private school where your son had the problem?
It's a charter
Charter
school.
school. Mhm, okay. I have nothing against charter schools, but
Yeah.
they kinda had their own rules sometimes, and it's kinda
Again, I see where they were trying to go.
yeah,
Just no. Just no.
yeah.
It was just a hard no. And again, I get it. I think they brought a lot of resources in to really try and make these boys Black men. Like they had morning meetings every morning to talk about what it's like to be a Black man in the world. But I think sometimes you you reach a little too far back and bring some things back that don't need to be brought forward with us. And that was one of them.
Yeah, I agree, and, you just never know what's gonna happen with those with charts. They really have their own rules, and I'm just gonna leave this here. Apparently, the president of the United States signed an executive order that schools can paddle children now.
Yes, my daughter brought that information home to me. I'm not in danger of that in any of her schools. And all I can say is that school that offered to paddle my son, I lived across the street. They wish I did not live across the street. I don't even want to find out what would happen if someone put their hands on my child.
I kinda said the same thing. I said, they don't want that smoke." So,
Mm-mm.
with
Because I'm coming up there
another
with a paddle too. Now what? We can paddle each other and see.
Exactly. Okay, so we're in the age of social media. How do
Mhm.
you help your kids understand the difference between digital Blackness and real life identity? Because there is a difference.
Mhm. There is. Um, I don't think we've really I don't think we've really had that conversation or had to deal with that. Again, we're in Atlanta. So our breadth of Blackness is very wide and very, very different. So they kind of they see all of the real differences. I don't even know that they pay attention to the digital Blackness. My daughter is not allowed to have social media.
Mhm,
So she doesn't even she takes my phone to scroll on TikTok. But
mhm.
what I have been teaching them is the difference just between social media and real life. Like what you see on social media oftentimes is not real life. You see someone doing something for likes that they could have paid for.
Yeah,
It's not real. And that's what we focus on, real life versus social media life. So those are the conversations that we have more. And I do have to have them more so with my daughter than my son.
yeah. I mean, social media can truly be a facade, and now with AI,
Hmm.
we don't know what's real, what's not real,
Hmm.
and it's almost at the point where if it doesn't get better, a lot of people just wanna turn it off.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for, our pictures and our videos being stored there, a
Hmm.
lot of us probably would have already turned it off,
Hmm.
and just not going back to it, but I think it's gonna get worse. And the other thing, that we teach our kids is that it can be such a negative place, right?
Yes.
No matter what you post, someone has to now more than one person
Hmm.
has to come and put something negative there.
Hmm.
And now I subscribe by like Disney's Bambi Thumper Mom philosophy, where
Hmm.
she tells them, if you don't have anything nice to say,
Hmm.
what? You don't say
Don't say it at
anything at
all.
all,
Right.
right? So what inspires these people to come to something they don't like or care for and say the most sometimes vitriol things
Yeah.
just amazes me. Like, just keep moving if you don't like it. But
No,
so
it's
we
because they can. It's
right.
because they can. It's a place where they have a false sense of power. Like if you think about the person who has no sense of control anywhere else in their life, they're not
Mhm.
very popular at school, their parents don't pay attention to them. But when they come online and start bullying people or posting negative comments, then they feel powerful. And don't let those negative comments get likes or people agree with them. Then that becomes their identity as the negative person, because we all know a lot of the times negativity will get more reaction than
Yeah,
positivity, not necessarily a better reaction, just more. And those kids who don't have any place else to be, they live online and that's where they thrive.
right. And the bad thing is they're always there online. So
Yes.
even your kids don't get a break after school.
Yeah.
On Saturdays, their
Yeah.
friends are always within
Mhm.
reach,
Yeah.
always. So, like,
Mhm.
what advice would you give Black moms raising confident children who are both grounded in their heritage and to prepare for today's complex world? Because it is getting more complex. Matter of fact, we don't even know what to expect anymore.
Right. Right. I mean, I would just say to teach your children to trust themselves and believe in themselves. Put them in as many positions as possible early so you can see how they react. Like I've started doing that with my son. I'm very hands off with him now. He has a really loose curfew and I never have to enforce it. Let me see what time you're going to come home. Let me see what you do with this information. When we go to the doctor's office, I'm going to sit in the corner. You fill out all the paperwork. Yesterday, he had an appointment. There were lots of people there. He didn't know what he was doing. And he's looking at me. I'm like, figure it out. Give them the tools so they can feel confident in themselves early. Once they're confident in their decision making abilities, then they're able to move through life easier. But if we do everything for them, when they're faced with a challenge, they don't have any data that can tell them, I can handle this because I've done it before. So even small things, just let them do things by themselves, obviously within reason and safely, just to give them there's a difference between being confident in your smart, your looks, your athletic ability than being confident in your ability to live in this world. So give them those experiences early so that they can figure them out.
Okay, and we have a question from Takia. What are ways to keep your kids encouraged without them feeling like you're doing or saying it because they're your child? Yeah, because I get that a lot. Oh, yeah, you're my mom. You're just saying that because you're mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the things that I've done, and I'm not successful at that, because I'm a bad teacher, and you have to know things about yourself as an adult. So I try to find other people to help reinforce that. If I've tried to drive a point home several times and it's not working, I'll bring in someone else. Like, hey, can you have a conversation with him, or maybe can you take her for a minute and just talk to her so it doesn't feel like only me. And it's even better if you can get someone that they look up to, or someone that they admire, or someone, even a peer, that at least sees things the way that you do. Sometimes you have to bring in, the heavy artillery.
Right. I like that. That's kind of almost like a mentor type of situation.
Hmm.
So thank you, Takia. Thank you for that question. What's one parenting moment, funny, wild, or emotional, that still makes you stop and say, did that really happen?
That is a good question. I
It could
don't
be
know.
something you're proud of or anything funny that the kids did.
Um, That is okay. It's not really funny. It's embarrassing. But it's recent, so it come. My kids. We have so many great memories and funny things. We were at Clark for homecoming,
Mhm.
and the alumni cheerleaders take the field for a quarter. And my daughter was there. My daughter's a cheerleader. She was also there with one of her teammates. So, I'm trying to be mom and show that I still got it. And I went to do a round off, which I do all the time, mind you. I can do that safely.
Oh,
I cannot do anything else,
okay.
and I landed in the emergency room and had a sprain
Oh
that
my god.
required physical therapy, and it was a 6-month long injury.
I'm so sorry.
So it was embarrassing. She was happy in that moment, like, look at my mom, until I was like, hey, so I kind of need to go to urgent care, because this is really bad and it hurts. So yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
So
I
wait,
now know to no longer try and do things with my children. I may cheer from the sideline, but I may not participate.
so you did a roundup and you played it off until you got to the side, or was it obvious?
So No, it wasn't obvious
Okay.
immediately because that adrenaline was still going. But
Okay.
about 5 minutes later, I was like, hey, my thumb hurts. And
Oh
then it was
no.
swelling.
Oh
And I
no.
kept putting ice on it while I was still at homecoming tailgating. Then I was like, I gotta go. I need
Okay.
to go to urgent care. And yeah, I sprained one of these ligaments, and it takes 6 months to heal. So it was pretty bad.
So sorry that happened to you. How are you now? Can you do the roundup?
Oh, I'm never gonna do it again. So whether I can or not, we won't know.
Okay, okay, okay. Don't
We
hurt
will not
yourself.
find out.
Don't hurt yourself. Well, finally, how can our audience follow you and support your journey on social media?
Sure. Again, everything is Shop Happy Mango, TikTok, Instagram. I think we're Happy Mango Boutique on Facebook. My personal Instagrams and TikTok and whatever else is all my first name. So it's just at Phnewfula across all platforms.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, appreciate it. I appreciate it. We got to keep updated on what you're doing and what's going on with Happy Mango. So make sure you come back and also just let us know what's happening as it happens because we'd love to feature you again.
I would love to. My daughter's mad because I wouldn't let her skip school to tell her point of view on the
Oh,
acrylics and Bussdown.
oh, that's funny. But she can watch the replay and then let me know what she says. Okay.
I will.
Okay, all right. And a big shout out to all of you watching the replay of this special edition of Successful Black Parenting Magazine's Back Talk. Be sure you follow us on social media. Click on everything because engagement is success, and we can't be successful without you. Click on the follows, the likes, the advertisements, even if you don't buy anything, because all of that helps us and keeps us sustainable. I wish you all the best and much success. Take care. Thank you for listening out there, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Back Talk by Successful Black Parenting Magazine. We'll see you soon.